Hey, bow, bow. Welcome to the Trashcasts Trashcast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
And today we're going to take a look at some scientific discoveries and advancements from the past year or so that may have gone unnoticed by most of us. Mammoths, space diamonds, and the first successful double arm and shoulder transplant.
Oh, shit.
This is the news I needed more of last year.
Dude, I just want to know, when do we get our mech suits, bro?
It's coming.
You think
it's
so?
Definitely coming. Did they ever do that mech battle between US and Japan?
Oh, I don't know. I remember that, though.
I was super hyped up for a minute.
There's been some cool mech suit prototypes, but nothing like practical yet. But we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. I just want to see a Gundam go into battle. That's really, what if that's what Russia's hiding?
Oh, shit.
They started this war just so they could eventually deploy their or an Ava or something.
Dude, did you watch that like Gundam on late night Toonami type shit?
I never did. I tried to a little bit, but I couldn't get into it because I knew nothing of the story. And then more recently, like in the last few years or so, I wanted to try to get into it. And I have the opportunity because I have a friend whose dad has all of the like Gundam, like anything Gundam on video, he's got it.
Oh, shit.
And the problem is, like, where do you start? And there's differing opinions on that. Because it's like, there are certain things that are like non-canonical and all the stories are different and shit.
I think I'm just a hater. I hate everything. I always like,
you're just figuring this out?
Yeah, I think like at a glimpse, like 10 seconds of Gundam looks cool, but if I look at it any closer than that, I start to lose it.
Mech anime in general, I've never connected with that much. But it's like a cultural phenomenon, Gundam is.
Yeah. Well, I was just having this conversation with John, and I've had it repeatedly with Sarah. I don't understand why artists or fans of art like tech aesthetics compared to organic. Right? Like, I would never use anything techy in art. Something so beautiful ruined by circuit board patterns, electricity.
There is the belief that, that kind of stuff is beautiful in its own regard and it does have its own design.
But they're just wrong. I want sharp lines of circuit boards in my art. Get at it.
Yeah, Steven, you are absolutely a hater.
I know. All right, so how's your week been, man?
It's been all right. It's been chill. I did meet a new friend this morning as I left my house to get ready for work. A new neighborhood cat appeared from my barn, and this one was very friendly. Most of the time, when the cats around the neighborhood see me, they bolt immediately. So this one came out and like meowed at me and like came right up like my stairs to my porch to me. Cause like I came out of the door and I saw it. So I kind of stood still cause I didn't want to scare it. And, it came right up to me and like was like loving on my leg. And so I gave it some pets and like very obviously it's not afraid of people. So I think it's a neighborhood, somebody's cat got lost, but I looked into that some more. And I couldn't there's no signs up around the neighborhood, anything like that. So,
hey, you know what they say? One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Damn right.
That's your treasure now.
This is my yard cat now.
Now, I have to point out, you are willing to tell us about this new furry friend you met today.
Uh-huh.
But you're not going to tell us about the police discovering the person you murdered?
Oh yeah, that was
keeping that a secret, huh?
Yeah, well, I was trying to. everything's still under the investigation, innocent until proven guilty and whatnot. But they did dig up a house, the yard, right down the street from my house, because they had suspicions that there is a body back there. And this bando.
The bando.
This abandoned house has been without owner for the last year or so. Dang. And wild shit. It looks like they didn't find anything yet, but
Well, I just would like to get ahead of this in case this podcast is used in evidence. What would you like to take this moment to say to the prosecutor?
I plead the fifth.
That's it? You're guilty as fuck. It's over. Oh, fuck, man. Well, sounds like a mostly chill week.
Yeah. My personal week's been chill. The neighborhood's been hot, though.
It's been a mess. Yeah.
How you been?
Just okay. Chill. Not nearly as creatively productive as I would like, but I've been putting the time in and just trying not to force it. I slept all fucking weekend. I think I had slept the work week. I slept 2 hours a night for 5-6 days. So this weekend I just fucking slept and worked on art, and that was nice. I feel a little rejuvenated.
Good.
I'm exfoliated. I'm shining.
Your brain is exfoliated. You worked out all the lumps and wrinkles.
I gave my brain a little bit of oxygen, and it's thriving. So what do we got? Speaking of brain oxygen, do we got any brain transplants?
Not brain transplants, although that was set to happen. They were supposed to do a whole head transplant a couple years ago, and the guy backed out of it.
Yeah. You remember Travis the chimp?
No.
All right. Do you remember when we were younger that story they talked kids talked about all the time was the woman who got her face ripped off by a chimp?
Yeah.
She was the first face transplant.
Oh, wow. That's right. We've talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah,
before.
Our old buddy Travis.
Buddy Travis.
Yeah.
Just ripping faces off. How you do.
That monkey strength, man.
Yeah, man.
Dude, so strong.
He was probably just trying to pick a little, probably had a booger or something on her, and he was like, let me just get that. And then that whole thing came off.
Apparently she had gotten a haircut and had been away for a couple hours while her friend was babysitting, and he got territorial of her / was a little confused because she looked different. But this chimp Travis would drive around town in the owner's car picking up women, and there were multiple cases he would rip women off the street and throw them in his car and drive around. You can't have a pet monkey. So he was
literally a pimp.
Basically. Yeah. You can't have a pet Travis, that is for sure.
You can't have a pet Travis. An absolute menace to society.
Menace.
No, we don't have any of that. We do have the world's first double arm and shoulder transplant happened last year. So it was an Icelandic man who lost both of his arms in a work accident 23 years ago. So he became the world's first recipient of a double arm and shoulder transplant in January. At the time, doctors said it would said it would be a life-changing. Jesus Christ, I can't read it all today.
I blame Travis.
It's probably Travis's fault. All I can think about is getting my face ripped off.
I see him lurking in the darkness behind you.
Yeah, my cat is definitely all up in my grill, sniffing at this microphone. She's going to walk away eventually on her own. So anyways, at the time, the doctor said it would be life-changing if the patient recovered the ability to actively bend his elbow. Nerves grow on average about 1 millimeter per day, meaning that after a year, his nerves would be reaching the elbow, and in 2 years, they may reach his hands. Less than 6 months after the surgery, the patient could already flex his bicep and reported some nerve feeling in his forearms.
That's pretty incredible.
That's absolutely incredible. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and congrats to that dude to have to wait 23 years.
Yeah, that's the kind of time it takes for, I would imagine it takes for you to be like, to accept it. Like, this is my life now. I have no arms.
So, do you know, did he have no arms, or was he a it's not paraplegic and it's not hemiplegic.
Well, they gave him new arms and shoulders. So I imagine that there wasn't like, he didn't have,
I think he had
nubs.
dead arms.
I have no idea.
Just a couple noodles.
Just a couple noodles. Just
like, we're going to give you a
just
new
for decoration
transplant. Yeah. Wow. That's got to feel, imagine how wild that would feel to be able to embody your body again. Like, they talk about phantom pain.
Years later.
Yeah, like just the absence of not having your hands, your arms, to being able to have that sensation again. How weird it would feel while the nerves are growing.
Now, imagine if that arm had some shitty tattoos on it.
Oh yeah.
some no regrets type
no
shit.
No regrets. Fuck, that's a good one, man.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. The next one I got here.
Okay.
Dogs, bees, and COVID-19 detection. Which the first part of that seems like I've heard about part of this.
I'm familiar a bit.
Yeah, so dogs have been long used for the detection of drugs and bombs, so why not turn to them again in a pandemic?
That damn pandemic.
Panadram. That's a drug that you hear about on the commercial for Hulu or something.
The pandemic was so bad I had to take the Panadrams.
It's for motion sickness, but if you take it, you have explosive diarrhea and vomiting.
Explosive pants.
You might die. Yeah, explosive pants. So during the pandemic, both Florida International University and University of Pennsylvania launched successful programs to train dogs to detect the smell of COVID-19 on humans. FIU researchers demonstrated the dogs achieved greater than 90% accuracy with low false positives, while Penn researchers showed the dogs were even able to detect asymptomatic patients and those who already cleared the virus from their system, which is fucking buck wild.
Yeah.
In that short of a time, they were able to utilize this, I assume, similar training to, like, they can smell like cancer and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fucking nuts. Additionally, startup companies Insect Sense and Wageningen, which is, I think, the only way to pronounce that word, Wageningen Bioveterinary Research successfully trained bees, the fucking buzz around and make honey and shit, to extend their tongues when they smell the coronavirus. Bees, like dogs, can learn to detect volatiles and odors, but with just a few minutes of training.
Wow.
Yeah. That blew me away. Like, I know bees aren't stupid. I know that was a thing that, like, they're definitely
stupid bees.
Yeah, they're very intelligent, considering that, like, most of what they do seems to be very instinctual based, like ants and shit like that, but they're actually really intelligent. The research was conducted with more than 150 bees with different training setups to determine the most optimum training protocol. Like, so much, I learned more about that. Like I said, I knew about the dog part. I knew that they could do that. And I remember hearing about it when they started doing that last year. But the bees part, that kind of blows me away.
Yeah, I have followed the cancer sniffing dog stuff a bit, and that always surprised me because, like, even like corpse sniffing dogs, they will, like, tout high levels of accuracy, but really they are, a lot of the information on that is they're a lot worse at it than law enforcement will like to pretend. I've watched a couple documentaries on that specifically.
Yeah, I've heard about that before too.
And a lot of it comes down to, like, subconscious communication between the handler and the dog, or not clearly being able to outline the parameters of the experiment. And I have a feeling there's some of that also with things like cancer or COVID, but supposedly with cancer specifically, dogs, like certain breeds, can be very good at it.
Yeah.
I never trust the stat, but it's amazing that that is possible at all. And the idea that a bee could do it, so it makes you question like the levels of consciousness and free will and all those things in animals.
Here's another thing.
Sentience.
It says that they train the bees to extend their tongues when they smell coronavirus, which I guess of course bees have tongues. I just never thought of it.
Out of the proboscis?
Yeah, I guess
they have proboscis?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think they do. I don't think that's
But I sure sound smart when I say proboscis.
Isn't a proboscis a part of a flower? It's not a part of an insect?
Could be. I always thought it's the needle thing, but you might be right. I know one of them, either one of the proboscis goes in the other. The proboscis, if you will.
It's not okay. So it's not proboscis. I remember this too about this word. It's not proboscis. It's proboscis.
Oh, okay.
It's the nose of a mammal, especially when it's long and mobile, such in the trunk of an elephant or the snout of a tapir.
Wait.
It is zoology in many insects. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, insects.
An elongated sucking mouth part that is typically tubular and flexible. Okay, you were right.
Like a mosquito.
Like a mosquito.
Mosquito leader. Dude, I saw this really cool one about a year ago. I think it started with an artist, and then this, I believe, I may be wrong, but I know the artist worked with scientists, but they are finding ways to remote control cockroaches. So
I remember, I saw that too.
They're basically like chipping these cockroaches, tapping into its, and their central nervous system's different, but it had a way of controlling their nerve system, and you could literally, like an RC car, control a cockroach with a camera.
They're so fucked up.
And they were doing live streams of it, and it was so wild. But initially, they were doing these type of things for covert intelligence, and during the CIA acid trials, and I think, what was it, Black Raven, those type of tests where they're trying to find the Manchurian Candidate, all those acid tests, right? They also were doing these very cartoonishly elaborate, like go-go gadget level surveillance techniques. And there was one technique, and they basically implant a recording system inside of a cat and run a audio system through the tail. And they would use it to covertly record conversations. And this is like the 80s, late 80s, I think. And it worked.
That's
it worked.
Fucking nuts.
Like great audio. But the problem that they had is they couldn't control the cats. Yeah. and the Russians are known for doing the same shit with dolphins. They'll put these implantable cameras in dolphins and teach them where to go. And they have them run like security routes around like bays and stuff.
That's fucking wild.
So the idea that bees can smell COVID, I believe it, but dude, that really makes me question sentience. Like that, like,
oh yeah,
we think of insects as a lower level cognitive functioning, but there's something.
They've been here longer
more
than us.
Yeah. I really like these. By the way, I haven't seen this list, so this is fun to see what Ricky throws at me.
The shit that I thought was cool.
Yes, so
I found
cool.
a couple different lists and I broke them down.
Yeah, fuck
to
yeah.
what I thought was cool.
All right, what else we got?
All right, this one is researchers sequence world's oldest DNA from 1 million-year-old mammoth. An international team led by Stockholm University researchers successfully analyzed the genomes from 3 ancient mammoths using DNA recovered from mammoth teeth that had been buried for 0.7 to 1.2 million years in the Siberian permafrost. Analysis showed the oldest specimen, which was approximately 1.2 million years old, belonged to a previously unknown genetic lineage of mammoth, now known as the Krestovka mammoth. The results show the Krestovka mammoth diverged from other Siberian mammoths more than 2 million years ago.
Fuck.
Yeah. The shit that we can do.
But we're not far from Jurassic Park, dude.
It really not. There was something they argued about a few years ago about bringing back species, and they were talking about recently. It was like we could technically bring back the dodo bird.
Yeah, I remember that.
We can do that. And then there's all the people that are like, "You're playing God." It's like, yeah.
So is your cancer treatment, bud.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's the point.
Wow. Dude, I remember them discovering the mammoths at different points, but I never remember seeing good pictures of them. Do you remember our tattoo episode, The Oldest Man? Do you remember? What was his name? And then they found older men after that, but he had the medical tattoo.
It started with an O.
Yeah.
Ice Man.
Oh, I gotta see this. Ice Mammoth.
Ice Man Mummy is what I want to look up. Otzi,
yeah.
Otzi, the boy.
Do they have pictures of these mammoths?
Mammoths are like big woolly
but like I've never seen
right?
but I've never seen a real good picture of one of these mammoths they found.
They do have a picture of one of the permafrost ones. I have seen that before.
Okay.
If you type mammoth permafrost.
All I keep finding is Sid from Ice Age the movie. A little Easter egg. So the studio that made the Ice Age movies, apparently they got shut down. And as their last act before the artists cleared out their studios, they put together like a 2-minute like short film of what's his name? The squirrel. I just said it. Sid. I don't know how I knew that because I don't know how I remember that. And then forgot it in 30 seconds. But they made a short film, like a 2-minute film of Sid finally getting the acorn.
Nice.
That he in the plot of the two movies he had been searching for the whole time and never obtained. So before the studio went out of business, they gave Sid the acorn, which is cool.
How cute.
Yeah.
It's we needed the closure on that.
It's haunted my whole life.
I mean, you know what? I'm trying to think of I don't know, something to compare it to when we were kids. There really wasn't anything that I can think of where we didn't have...
It's like taking Bill Cosby's sweaters. You got to give the junkie their fix. You can't you can't take the acorn from Sid. All right. Okay, we got mammoths.
Yeah, so I just linked a picture to you there of one of the mammoths.
Oh shit. This is a baby. Right?
Looks like it probably. I mean, after the the mummification process, how...
Really just... that has to have been originally a baby. That can't,
probably.
Yeah. But it really looks like a little baby elephant with like a little bit of mummified hair. Oh my god, that's so creepy. Holy shit.
Wild and nasty shit, man. So the molecular archaeology professor and research leader at Stockholm University stated, one of the big questions now is how far back in time we can go. We haven't reached the limit yet. An educated guess would be that we could recover DNA that is 2 million years old and possibly even as far back as 2.6 million.
Damn. I know they have to be careful when taking something like the mammoth out of the ice, like, the pharaohs, when they... Like, there used to be the rumors of curses of the pharaohs' tombs and the pyramids because they would open the different throne rooms and shit, and ancient viruses or disease or even just a cold that hasn't existed in 200 years often would kill the researchers.
Yeah, they would get sick from all the shit in there, yeah.
Archaeologists, if you will.
The researchers.
Dude, that's gotta, I mean, think about, oh my God, everything they could learn from one of these mammoth thigh.
Yeah. Mammoth thigh.
This is out of control already.
Yep. This episode's a little unhinged, but that's okay. We're having fun with it.
A little loopy. Wow, dude,
the next one I got up here is cool. This is green coffee and starch. Scientists in Finland successfully produced batches of coffee that smell and taste like the real thing using coffee cell cultures in bioreactors. Startup companies Compound Foods and Atomo, I don't know how it's supposed to be said, are also working towards more sustainable coffee production. These synthetic versions of coffee use less water, generate less carbon emissions, require less labor, and most importantly, cause no deforestation. Around the same time, scientists in China published a study on a novel technology that can turn CO2 into starch in a highly efficient manner.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Because starch is essential for many products and most common carbohydrate in human diets. Sustainable production could reduce land, pesticide, and water use, as well as greenhouse gas emissions, all while increasing food security.
Wow.
They're talking about making food out of the shit that we breathe out.
I mean, just last episode, we talked about, the conflict and violence that goes into our cups of coffee. To have a more sustainable form of Java beans would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder what the caffeine content's like.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. And, it's like they're doing that with the meat right now. They're growing it in a lab. And I say fuck it. I think that we should be doing that. If we can do that with something that it makes it more accessible or, easier on the planet in a certain way, then absolutely fuck you, do it.
I'm calling this shot like I'm Babe Ruth, right? I think within our lifetimes, we're going to be able to go to jungle gyms or other exotic meat stores, and we're going to be able to buy genetically identical celebrity meats. Oh, what kind of steak is that? It's a Bradley Cooper. Yeah, this is a Lady Gaga thigh. Like dude, the possibilities.
I mean, technically, yeah.
Yeah, for real though.
If you take a person's cell the same way,
half Lady Gaga, half zebra meat, like we could do all kinds of crazy shit, dude. Oh my God, that'd be so much fun.
You know what? Actually, I'm talked about eating a zebra in school one time, and my chef said, it's probably not going to be any different than horse meat, and if you want to try that, just go eat some dog food. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right on that. Okay.
One of my this is like old school PC shooter games. One of my favorite games was Cube, that only the hardcore gamers will know. But they made a second version, and it was called Sauerbraten by these German programmers. Mm-hmm. And Sauerbraten is German for horse meat. And it was never explained why that was the name of their game.
You know what's funny is you played a game called Cube. I played a game when I was younger called Sphere.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
It was like a puzzle game sort of thing. You control a spear and you use it to unlock puzzles.
Sounds very misty.
It was on the heels of that, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
The conversion, what was it? Was it carbon dioxide to starch?
Yeah, that's fucking massive.
That reminds me, two of the bigger discoveries I remember that are from like the last 5 years were research in turning algae into solar electricity. Algae uses it to fuel themselves using modified algae to create electricity. I remember something about that. That reminds me of the starch. But then the other really cool one I saw was a genetically modified bacteria that fed off plastic. So their ideas were...
Yeah, I remember that too. That was wild.
Like use like this liquid form of it in places like landfills. There was even a version that I think could eat some concrete over time, and it would slowly break down inorganic matter. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's fucking dope.
I wonder what
the algae one. I remember that. I feel like at least the way I remember it is like they were talking about making solar panel type things with it.
Yeah, and there was also talk of powering cars with water involved in that too.
Would be fucking cool.
Yeah.
All right, we go on to the next one here.
Yeah.
I think you'll like this one. For some reason, I saw this and I thought you would like this.
Fuck yeah.
Supercomputers outwit antibiotic resistance.
I'm familiar with this.
Okay, cool. About 700,000 people die each year because of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, and that number is projected to rise into the millions. Some studies predict that without effective antibiotics, life expectancy will drop by 20 years. Researchers from I don't like that sentence because it doesn't say, like, how long that's going to take to get there and whatnot, but anyways, researchers from the University of Portsmouth recently took a giant leap towards combating this public health threat. They are the first to use a multi-pronged computer-guided strategy to make a new antibiotic from an existing one that bacteria have outwitted.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool.
This antibiotic is going to market currently.
That's fucking awesome.
Dude, it's so wild because this is... All right, STDs are a great example of this. The new strains of, I believe, Hep and then chlamydia, those different things like that are having...
The super clap, man.
Yeah, that are immune to antibiotics. So they're using quantum computing systems with the quarks spinning up and down to do mathematics on a level we've never been able to do to analyze and look at the relations between molecules of medicines and basically run calculations on an infinite amount of molecule positions to try to adjust a antibiotic or medication or create a new one. And they're finding a actual antibiotic is going to market this year that was created in part due to quantum computing shit. Like it's so cool.
That might be the same drug that this article was talking about. It says their best drug candidate is up to 56 times more active for the tested bacterial strains than 2 antibiotics on the World Health Organization's list of essential medicines, erythromycin and clarithromycin.
Erythromycin.
Mycin?
I think so. I always get it fucked up.
Erythromycin?
I read all these like medical terms, but I'm never hearing them said.
Yeah. I know I've taken erythromycin before.
Yeah, it's a Z-Pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'd have to do that for, oh no, I'm thinking I did that one for, I had, cellulitis in my leg. I think that was for that. And it was, if I didn't take, like, they were like, you came at the right time because it could have gotten septic if you'd waited longer.
Quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's general antibiotic used most often for upper respiratory infections, but it's worldwide used for just about anything you can think of. To have new drugs that are more effective than we've ever had to keep up with how viruses and shit are mutated. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's one of those things. There's so many of these stories that, like, I'd heard a little bit about last year, and it's like, but there was never time to focus on it. And especially shit like this that just, like, it flew completely under the radar for me. I didn't hear about this at all. It's like that's...
Well, as exciting as it is, for the average person to be able to come into contact with most of these technologies, but even just a new antibiotic, it's a long road. And, just like insulin or a lot of other general medications, there is a massive problem of inequality in a market of capitalism. The idea that these medications will be expensive and with some level of exclusivity for a while until, as more and more comes out, it, reaches the masses type of thing. But the capabilities are outstanding.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking wild shit. There's always a dark side to it, but
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's pretty fucking cool.
Well, to your point, think about what new, like, it took us X amount of time to get a new antibiotic to a super strain of whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now that you introduce new super antibiotics, what happens when there's a super duper version of that virus, right? Like,
right. They're just gonna. That's how they do. Because they are a form of life as well, and their goal is also to survive.
Right.
Where are you at, vegans? Why aren't you trying to stop the spread of the virus? Stop the defeat of the virus.
They're trying.
It has a life too.
Oh God. Can you imagine the political party of virus defenders? All viruses are made equally. We should not destroy virus cells.
Can't eat the virus. Can't eat plants because they have cellular structure. Anyways, the next one I got, this one I did know about. This one's fun. I'm a huge, stupid space nerd. So we've got the first sample from another planet last year. So NASA's Perseverance rover successfully completed the collection of the first sample of Martian rock, a core from Jezero crater, which is slightly thicker than a pencil. The sample is slightly thicker than a pencil. The sample-taking process began when the rotary percussive drill at the end of Perseverance's robotic arm cored into a flat briefcase-sized Mars rock, nicknamed Rocket. After completing the coring process, the arm maneuvered the core, bit, and sample tube so that the rover's Mastcam Z camera instrument could image the contents of the still unsealed tube and transmit the results back to Earth. After mission controllers confirmed the cored rock's presence in the tube, they sent a command to complete processing of the sample. Perseverance then transferred the sample tube serial number 266 and its Martian cargo into the rover's interior to measure and image the rock core. It then hermetically sealed the container, took another image, and stored the tube. These samples would be the first set of scientifically identified and selected materials returned to Earth from another planet. And
that's how we got COVID.
Yep. Well, this happened after COVID.
Oh, I forget the name of it. I think it's a weird one where it's not a bacteria or virus, but a similar weird form of life. They look like little bears.
Oh, the tardigrades?
Yeah, that can survive going in and out of the atmosphere.
There's arguments that say that tardigrades are among the life forms that came here on an asteroid.
Right. Yeah, they could be real aliens.
Yeah. The idea of the real source of life on Earth.
Yeah, like the idea of inadvertently bringing some sort of life or virus from Mars, some space bacteria. Isn't that like kind of the Venom origin story?
Yeah, more or less, yeah. Those things are fucking cool. You can boil them, freeze them. I was like, they had them like dried, like dehydrated for like over 30 years or something, and then like gave them a little bit of water, and they were like fucking back up at it.
Jesus Christ! And don't they stay around the underwater? What is it called? Like heat ducts? What do they call it? The volcano?
No, they are everywhere in water everywhere.
Gotcha.
They are in all water. If you are near any body of water, they are there.
Oh man, I meant to send it to you. There's some stupid. I think it's on Facebook or something else, but the shit post food something, but they do like nasty food combinations and stuff. But there was they were doing scans under electron microscope of meats, and specifically they were doing hot dogs to show all the life inside of a hot dog.
Oh Jesus!
So gross.
Yeah, you have to send me that.
All these microscopic worms in hot dogs.
You had saw these. I was on the food truck today. This event was dead. It was cold outside. It was a corporate thing where you like show up at this company, this gigantic fucking company, so that their employees can come out and get food. And sometimes it's really busy. But just because it was so fucking cold outside, they didn't want to come out there and stand in front of these trucks. So like no one was busy. No, there just weren't that many customers out there, but we in particular were slow. But they have their own like hot dog truck out there. It's like a little, not like even a truck. It's like you could hook it up to a bike and pull it behind if you wanted to. This fucking, that's all they have. Like they have a menu board up and it just says hot dogs. And it's like they have hot dogs and like drinks, I guess. But it's like right across from me and I was looking at it and I was getting hungry. And it's like, I could go to one of these other food trucks and spend like $17 on, whatever fucking sandwich or dumb shit they have. Or I could just go spend $1 and get a hot dog. And I really considered it for a minute and I was like, no, like even if it was like, even a good hot dog, this fucking sucks. Like even I don't know, like, that's why, because I think a lot about stuff like that. Like, how do you make a bunch of money in the food industry? It's like sell shit like that, like shitty quality stuff.
Super cheap.
Yeah, it's extremely cheap to buy in bulk, and then you can turn around and sell it for a pretty cheap price, and then and people are like, oh yeah, absolutely, I'll do that because it's so cheap. I don't care. And then yeah, it's shit like that makes me. I don't know. I think about that a lot.
You basically were ready to gobble some glizzies on your break.
I was thinking about it, yeah. Not even on my break, on company time. I'm getting paid to gobble them up. This is another one I thought for sure Steven's going to love this. Just the idea of it. This is some Skyzik shit.
Okay.
Mercury's surface is covered in diamond dust.
Ah, yes.
Mercury was once a much more violent place to be. It still isn't ideal, suffering extreme temperature variations between its day and night sides. While we wouldn't want to live there, it might be worth visiting for a little treasure hunting. Recent simulations of Mercury's surface and impact interactions over the last 4 billion years have revealed that the surface of the planet might be coated in microscopic diamonds. It just sounds fucking cool. I'm like Diamond Beach.
Now, is it Mercury or it might be Jupiter where it rains diamonds? I think that might be Jupiter with the rings. I think it rains diamonds, but I may be wrong. The idea of Mercury being covered in diamond dust, like, oh my god, I feel like that would make it. It would just destroy everything, right? Would diamond dust cut you up?
I mean, if it was moving really quickly.
I mean, I don't know.
They're just saying it like sits on the surface.
You know what that reminds me of is the sour Skittles.
It's
sour Skittles.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's Neptune and Uranus that it rains diamonds.
Neptune.
Yeah, I knew that was a thing, and I couldn't remember which one it was.
Imagine getting hit in the head with a diamond.
The big fucking Hope diamond just hits you in the temple. Mankind ventures all the way out. We were able to send people out to the deeper parts of the solar system, and they come out of their cryostasis after they arrive, and they go on their first ever walk on near the surfaces of these planets, which I think they're gaseous. There's not really a surface so much.
Yeah.
But you get over there and you get out in the suit, and then just this big fucking diamond comes hurling up and knocks your partner unconscious.
Think of like the California gold rush, right? Like everybody migrating west, like all the poor people of the world. I can picture. This is our sci-fi movie. We got to start our script, right? The future. We have our Elon Musk character, we've already got a little colony on Mars. We got little space stations around Neptune, and we're sending all the poor people onto this planet to mine diamonds from the rain, right?
Yeah.
People are taking their lives in their own hands. The poor people of Earth being sent to mine diamonds in space.
Aren't we already basically trying to do that with asteroids?
Yeah, but I think that we're not that far, man. We're going to be sending people to die on foreign planets.
On Mercury.
Yeah,
hey, go to that one that's closest to the sun.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah, pretty fucking cool. They're more of the article here. Early in Mercury's formation, it was covered in global magma ocean. Graphite formed within the magma and eventually rose to the surface, creating a floating graphite crust estimated to be hundreds of meters thick. The first billion years after the formation of the solar system were heavily punctuated with asteroid impacts, each of which would have converted that graphite instantly into diamond. Unlike diamonds on Earth, these wouldn't be large, clear gems that we're accustomed to seeing in jewelry. Instead, microscopic diamond dust would have been scattered over the surface. Future missions to the planet could tell us more about the surface composition, but if these estimates turn out to be correct, Mercury could be holding a diamond hoard 16 times larger than Earth's.
Wow.
Dude, fucking crazy.
You know what value they're missing, though?
What?
With all that graphite, that is a lot of mechanical
There's
pencils.
a goddamn millions of pencils.
Billions! Fuck the diamonds. We got pencils.
Two billionaires are fighting for, the rights to go up there and mine, and who's going to go first and who's going to do this. And then it comes to pass that one of them just wants to make pencils. You can keep the diamond dust.
Right. We need that graphite.
And that billionaire's name was Steven.
Dude, imagine that moment when the asteroid hits that graphite and that the heat just expanding so quick, molten graphite into diamonds. Yeah. Oh, it's like a crazy play going up in the heavens.
Yeah. Some wild shit. That's the kind of thing that, like, you could have, before reading this, you could have animated something like that to be like, some otherworldly shit, and then, like, I don't know, it would have been like, oh, that's not real. That can't happen. That's not real. But yeah, that I mean, when you spell it out, that makes sense. That's fucking crazy.
So cool.
Yeah. I thought that was particularly interesting because like I said, just the concept of it just seemed like, I don't know, the idea of just like walking on, it's probably not, so much like a diamond beach, more or less. Cause that's like, have you ever seen like where they take sand and put it under a microscope? And it's like super intricate and really pretty. And like, there's so much cool stuff in there. And I think about that, like just a diamond beach. It's so small. Like it's not going to cut you or whatever. It's just these mulled down bits of diamond dust all over the place.
Now, when you think of like all the crazy stuff happening in our universe or galaxy around us, does that give you a feeling of like awe and hope, or does it make us feel small? Because I feel like
I think it makes us feel small.
It's a litmus.
It's not like, it's definitely not. I think I do get awe, but it's not hope. It's not like a hope that like, I don't know. The hope comes from like, oh, I wonder what else is out there. Like, this is cool to learn, but it's not like I don't know. It's not a hope in a way of like, oh, there's meaning to things.
I wonder if there's a name for the emotion or if they like a certain part of our brain reacts. But I feel like when someone talks about like the wonders of space, right? When you say there's diamond dust on this planet, I feel like there's a certain part of my brain that does this like instant split second reaction of like of otherworldly awe, right? Yeah. Where it's like, oh my, it gives you like a childish feeling of wonder for like just a split second. And then I feel like maybe based on the person's personality, like you could sustain that longer and longer. but there's just like a moment where, just like if you brain scan an addict when they look at drugs or different things like that, where your brain lights up a certain way. I feel like just hearing there's diamond powder on another planet that you'll never see and is so far away, it does something to your brain.
Yeah.
Just hearing that.
It fires your imagination in ways that most adults don't do anymore.
I think so.
You know, I say most adults because there are some of us that play D&D on a pretty regular basis. But even still, that's the kind of shit that people hear and then they turn into a campaign.
Shouts out to Keith.
Yeah, shouts out to Keith. I want Diamond Rain in the next Farendale something we do.
Oh, shit. My giant's going to be eating mouthfuls of diamond dust.
Just a bag of pocket sand that turns out to be diamonds.
Pocket sand.
Oh, God damn it.
All
right. This is actually my last one here.
Okay.
We're running pretty quick, which we expected this to be a quicker episode today anyways.
That's cool. We'll just wrap after.
Yeah. just
a quick rap session with us kids,
We'll put on a couple beats and
sit backwards on a chair and turn my cap around and
oh, God damn it. Get real youth groupie up in here. ALS patient speaks using computer brain interface. Scientists recently used a computer brain interface to restore minimal communication for an ALS patient who had lost all muscle control as a result of the disease. Scientists and researchers have been working on a number of devices intended to use a patient's remaining mental or physical abilities and translate them into communication, restoring a voice to individuals who have lost their own. Physicist Stephen Hawking, who himself had ALS, retained the ability to move a muscle in his cheek just slightly and used that ability to manipulate a computer, construct sentences, and even write books.
The old pretzel.
Yeah. God damn it. Fuck you. However, many ALS patients don't retain any muscle movement, so scientists needed... God damn pretzel.
You can't be that smart and have a normal body. I mean, you gotta even shit out somehow.
God giveth and God taketh away. Jesus.
I think I watched a video of the ALS because I think it's a woman that I think it still uses the computer screen, but she can move it completely with her mind and like text type the word.
Yeah. So almost. It's like letter by letter shit. So most ALS patients don't have any muscle movement, so they needed to come up with another solution. According to a paper published in the journal Nature Communications, electroarrays were implanted in the patient's brain, and the system was trained to recognize activity in nearby nerves. The patient manipulated a computer by activating those nerves, reportedly by trying to move his eye in order to answer yes or no questions and painstakingly spell out sentences. The process was slow going, on the order of a single character per minute, but he was able to make simple requests and express affection for his family. There's a long way to go before these interfaces become widely available, but being able to tell your family you love them again is an unequivocal win.
Can I tell you what grinds my gears?
Yes, please.
So, all right, Elon Musk just bought Twitter. Yeah. He's getting so much hate. Honestly, I think he'll probably run Twitter halfway decent. Fuck Twitter anyway.
Yeah.
But I really, really don't like Elon Musk's personality, right? Yeah. But there's so many people rooting for, and he's done a lot of scummy, a lot of shady shit. I really don't like him, so I don't like having to defend him at all. But there are so many people like cheering for his downfall, whether it's the Twitter thing, whether it's the Neuralink monkey research being shut down for potential abuse, different shit like that. But the reality is, neuroscientists who this ALS thing, this is done with brain implants, right? And Neuralink at the time had 400 times more synapse connections than any other privately available brain implant. And it like catapulted this type of research by light years, right? And the idea of like, I don't know, hating him enough to not want innovations or not understand that these type of changes are possible. And even if he is a piece of shit, like it takes all these eccentric rich people who probably do tons of shitty stuff in their own lives, like to get some of this shit done. Like the consequences of this research or Neuralink, whatever, are cures to things like epilepsy, ALS, dementia, all kinds of neurocognitive and physical problems. And I feel like we should just be pouring so much more into this type of stuff.
Regardless of anything else, we now know it works.
Which is why.
Yeah, so if you don't agree with some of the ways that it went or something like that, then work around it. But this is technology that we can use
to fix people's lives.
To save and fix people. Just to the dementia thing in general for me, man. That's so fucking hard.
I think it's one of the saddest and most romantic diseases. Holy shit. Yeah. So brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one scares me a bit. Watching my grandma go through it was so rough.
There are a few things in life that I'm like, I wouldn't say actively afraid of because I don't think of it, but the things that are like, that I actually think are scary, there's no like monsters, it's not spiders or dumb shit like that. It's fucking brain aneurysms and dementia.
Yeah, I know the aneurysm has been one you've mentioned before.
That's one, like I found out about brain aneurysms when I was really little. And I remember thinking like, so like there was a kid that like had one on, was like not a kid, but like he was a kid. He was in high school or something. And he was a basketball player or some shit. And he had a brain aneurysm while he was in the middle of a game. Just dropped down and fucking was gone.
You couldn't alley-oop it.
God damn.
It was a very specific aneurysm.
He was on his way up to the basket. Oh, god damn.
I will say
South
a lot
State
of them are
high school lost that game that night, but
a lot of aneurysms can be minor, though. I will. Like,
yeah. It's not always an instant death, but
kill.
Yeah, immediate. Just like that's if it was like that's God saying like vibe check, motherfucker.
Fuck you.
Fuck you in particular. Well, the fact that it can happen, the thing that it can happen without like any real like. Yeah, like no effects beforehand or whatever. That doesn't have to. Nothing has to be happening differently for you to just all of a sudden fucking bam.
And I think a large number of people would rather be dead than be vegetableized in any form.
True.
Like the idea of just not having control of your body is just so scary.
Yeah.
Even in the small ways, just like a weird twitch. Like a weird reaction, like you wake up weird one day, like just not having full autonomy of yourself is a scary feeling.
Yeah. You think about like how much of your facial emotion, your facial, like your the way that you move your face when you talk to someone. Yeah, the way that you move, your arms or your body language in general, and like how much of that you lose. Like, even if you retain all of your mental faculties to not be able to express them in any way, to, move your mouth enough to, like the ALS thing, to tell your family you love them.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
To express, concern, grief, love towards a person, like any of those things.
You're not living part of the, the human experience at that point.
Just stone-faced.
Yeah.
Just stuck. Yeah, it'd be extremely terrifying. Now, let's say we gave you all the money. Yeah. You hit it big on your diamond dust excursion, and you get to fund the next big project. And it doesn't have to be the most ethical or helps the most people, but what you're going to be most likely to figure it out if you're passionate about it. What kind of stuff would you go into? Like where would that childish sense of awe you see in the stars, where would it take you to develop a new tech?
Does it have to be new tech?
I mean, of any sort. I guess whatever you could do with the money. I'd imagine it's tech in one sense or another.
I say fixing the
Oh no! Fuck that. That's boring. We don't want to fix it. We're not trying to help people.
I've literally thought that's what you were just asking me is what would I do?
Well, they have to buy it. We're not giving it away.
Hey, it's my diamond dust. I'll do with it what I want to.
Oh, speaking of which, I just saw General Butt Naked Joshua Blythe on Instagram.
Oh, good.
Posting, they're making new interlocking brick huts.
Oh, nice.
Pretty cool. But it is wild to see a cannibal warlord post on it.
Yeah.
I always stop on the post, end up considering for a couple minutes if I should like it or yell at him. And then I always like it and keep scrolling.
Yeah, he's put that behind him.
I just want to call him out on the Christian part. But
well, yeah, that too.
So you got the money, you got your diamond, you got your pockets full of diamond dust, right?
Yeah.
How are you cashing it in? What do you want to make?
What's the exchange rate on diamond dust to Bitcoin?
Infinite. Because Bitcoin is worth.
Well, I mean, of course, like everybody I know, everyone that's close to me, new house, new car, out of debt.
Make something.
I don't know. Well, that's first things first.
Well, yeah, but we've done money experiments before.
This seems like the kind of I don't know. This isn't something I think about. This isn't the kind I have to
a brain implant that prevents strokes.
That's fixing something. You told me I can't do that.
No, you can fix something, but you can't just make the world not homeless or feed the poor.
That was exactly what I was going to say too. Fix the homeless. I know.
Do you know how many calories are in a homeless person?
Depends on how you cook them. You can use a lot of oil in there.
Depends on the oil. Yeah.
What kind of oil,
The sides, the dipping.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you get all them calories built up, man. It's the fucking dipping sauces. You can have a nice healthy slice of leg, but you start dipping it in ranch and it's all over with.
All right. Well, all right. Think Futurama, right? Brain in a jar. Like you could have a backup brain system, like the disc thing in Carbon, whatever that show. That was cool. What is it?
I don't like that so much. The idea of extending life,
like an extra hard drive for your brain.
Yeah. Now that idea might not be bad. The idea of pulling memories.
You're talking uploading?
Yeah, to be able to upload memories into...
For our loved ones, the future generations.
Yeah, the kind of thing that especially after someone passes, to be able to take that person's hard drive kind of thing and look back at their... look back at it from their perspective. Because you remember certain things in your own way, and even if you have videos and pictures, you can remember it a certain way, but... to see it from their perspective.
I think we've briefly touched on this before, where I know I've said before I would love to have a way to like go through an archive of my consciousness by year to like see how I thought of XYZ at XY time. You know what I mean? That'd be so cool. So instead of a bird life sanctuary, you would be in the consciousness preservation society by Richard. You'd be preserving consciousness. You'd be doing a service for the people.
Yeah, and the other thing is, there's so much of that would go for the that could be beneficial to the dementia thing as well, because it's like if you're taking someone's someone's memory, because the thing about the short term, your memory and with the dementia and whatnot, it's not that it doesn't exist, it's that you can't. They have trouble connecting to it, right?
It's so complicated. It depends on I would say that's fairly accurate early stage.
The later on it starts to it doesn't store.
I feel like it decays. Yeah. It really depends.
So like even if it's like stuff like that, you can show somebody, who's in a late stage dementia, you can show them their
hey dummy, this was you a year ago. Can you get with it?
Can you not be so shitty?
We're not getting anything done today.
You've asked me 12 times if I want a sandwich. I've been here for an hour and a half. Let's get it together.
So would you be interested in building an archive of consciousness?
Not really. That's no. So here's the thing. Because that sort of thing is so very personal, and like that's more personal than your fucking browsing history, right? So
you want to be like a personal library, like you got
it should be like like you and only you can access it until you die, and then like it's part of like your will kind of thing, like. Whoever is the executor of your will, like, is the one who gets reign to that next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a hypothetical worthwhile investment of something. Yeah, this is the kind of thing, like, you can't put me on the spot for shit like that, because I never think about having that kind of money.
Well, it's not about the money; it's about the
well, yeah, because when I start thinking about shit like that, it's like it's not even possible. That's not worth thinking about. It's not worth spending the time thinking about.
You have to unlock your imagination.
Like here's how bad it is for me with shit like that. Is like I'll start to think of. And part of this is also because of the content of it, but I'll think of different ideas for like restaurants or bars or things that I think could work really well. Then it's like, but I would need this, and like that's going to be expensive. And then like, fuck it. Like I'll get like halfway through planning the idea and realizing like this is going to be, it's like I'm not investing my money into this.
Okay, but you're the logic person and the think positive person. If you wanted to, you could get funding. People would put you on. Like, you're capable of it. Why wouldn't you play with the ideas a bit more? With the realistic ideas of, like...
Sure. Because it's work. Yeah. It's work that I don't want to do. It's one of those, I don't want to... I wouldn't be able to happily open it and let someone else run it.
Well, why are you stopping yourself from subconsciously exploring your ideas or fantasies?
Because part of it's because it's stressful to me to think about.
That's fair.
I think that's the most of it.
But your mind has to wonder sometimes.
I mean, yeah.
Right?
But it's not like, I don't know. I guess I don't have fantastical ideas about shit like that.
Oh, you don't think like a crazy
person? No, I don't.
Dude, I would want to do... I mean, it could be Neuralink, but I like the idea of the memory drugs that we've talked about before, or the idea of being able to use like neurostimulation or chemical infusion to have continuous or long-lasting designer drug experiences, or ways to combine or mix or like interplay your brain chemistry with someone else's, right? The idea of being able to we both have our implant and we connect to Bluetooth and we trade brain chemistry, or we use our brain chemistry to make a unique, intoxicating experience based on our unique brain chemistries, or trade memories as a drug. Like the idea of
you've told me about this one before.
Altering our experience of consciousness based on what we want or need to feel like. Because I feel like if we could feel the way we want to, but have control of it in a safe way, how that would manifest in people's actions would be so incredible. Like if you could feel 100% exactly how you wanted to on a molecular level, pure bliss, but pure like control still, you would see people do amazing things with their lives.
Isn't that what meth is?
Kind of. Less of the control, more pure confidence.
So I just thought about it a little bit more here. Definitely one thing that I would probably invest money into would be environmental shit, like cleaner energy sources.
Talking about the birds
and making
again.
making them accessible and efficient.
Did you say energy sources?
Yeah. I don't know what that entails so much for
Go big brain, unlimited energy machines. What is it called?
The perpetual motion.
Energy? Yeah.
I mean, part of it is like the electric car batteries, like making those more efficient and smaller.
Which they're doing.
Yeah. It's like, it's just a matter of time anyways. It's already a thing that's happening.
But I'm saying go full imagination. No limits. No logic. Just what
Just get some, you set up treadmills in your house and, you get some hamsters to run on them and that powers your house, Flintstone style.
I really don't understand why that type of stuff doesn't exist. They talked about doing that in the 70s, having workout equipment in every house that helps power the power grid, being rewarded for how many watts you can put into your community. Like all those type of things are so fucking doable.
Yeah.
It just was too expensive to do when the ideas were more popular. But now that is doable.
Back then everyone was high on coke anyway, so they kind of lost that steam.
Yeah, lost in the flowers.
I don't know, man. That's I feel like that's good. That could be a whole other episode in itself of like we'll take a week to like plan out, like try to logically plan out ideas, like give ourselves a budget of $200 billion.
That's a lot to make some moves, but it isn't unlimited. Like there would be practical.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's bad.
Yeah.
I'm saying there would be practical limitations.
Right.
Yeah. Something like that would be like mosquito evisceration, right? Like curing.
Oh my
like
god!
20
If we
years
just
ago,
get rid of mosquitoes?
polio.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's the biggest killer in the
yeah.
world, right? They've been working on that for a long time. It controlled poisons in the atmosphere, different countries or jungle. They do whole jungles at a time. Like we've reduced mosquitoes by a lot. Artificially.
Did you know that feral cats are such a problem in Australia? Like they kill all of the wildlife. They're like stray cats, like domestic cats they're such good hunters. They're killing off all of these exotic and wild animals that are like exclusive to Australia. So the Australian government, like for years now, has been like, like trying to figure out a way to kill off all of these stray cats. They're like, even to the point where they're like, we're going to put like, fucking poisoned food out, like in the, in around, just so they'll find it in like big cities or whatever, and they'll just get it. And like, I think they turned that one down, but like, there's so many different, plots and attempts to try to like kill all these cats. So I think there's like all the fucking, you think of like all the wild animals that you hear about in Australia, the cats are the most dangerous and the most of a nuisance to the environment.
And they do the similar thing in Florida with iguanas. Vice recently did a documentary. They pay you, it's like $8 to $12 per iguana. Because like if you go down some of the what are the water systems called?
The canals?
Florida? Yeah, there's another word. The bayous, maybe? But you go down like a canal or
Keys?
whatever, and I don't know. But you can spot like 100 iguanas at a time, like near cities, and they eat everything. So you're not allowed to shoot them with live ammunition, but these hunters go down on those airboat things, and they use high-powered airsofts to hunt iguanas. And you get about $10 per iguana. And when we had this last big freeze that was out of season, iguanas survive the freeze, right? But they fall from the trees. So the canals or whatever are lined with hibernated iguanas, right? And they had this, I guess it wasn't a problem, but all these like homeless people or different people that lived nearby would collect all the frozen iguanas and then try to cash them in. And a lot of them weren't dead yet, so they'd like thaw out and run away. But yeah, there's whole people whose careers hunting iguanas from their boats with airsoft rifles. Yeah, it's very similar to the cats in Australia, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking nuts.
Got to get that money for that sweet, sweet Florida ice, baby.
$10 buy a lot of ice,
baby.
Actually, I have no idea. That's one of those, like, I have no idea the price of most drugs, because I never got into it.
If you don't know, just assume about $100 a gram. That's actually a fair rule. And if you're from a major city, no drug, unless you're pushing weight, no one weighs their drugs by gram at all, right? If you buy a 20 bag of heroin, it's supposed to be 1/10 of a gram, 0.1 on a scale, right? You will never get a dealer that weighs it at all. When you buy a gram, it weighs whatever they want, because fentanyl has changed drugs so much, it doesn't matter what it weighs at all. So even if it does weigh the weight it's supposed to, it's less than 10% of the drug you want. So it doesn't even matter the weight, but a gram means a specific amount to the dealer, and a gram of pretty much anything it should be cheaper, but most things are approximately 100 a gram.
All I think of is the episode of Always Sunny where they got hooked on crack, and Dee and Dennis go down and they're talking to the guy. They're like, "How much would you recommend for beginners? Just like 2 rocks, like And the guy was like, $200. And they were like, "Yeah, okay, that sounds good." It's like $2 for 2 crack rocks.
$200 of that sweet, sweet brown butter.
$200. Like, oh Jesus God! And they kept going back.
Dude, I wish I didn't love crack. I found out way too late. I can't now.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Oh, it's delicious. Dude, if anyone would love crack, it is you, good sir.
I told you the one time that
was bad crack, bro. I'm telling you, if me and you do crack together.
I'm not. No. There's no
so
fucking way.
Sweet brown butter.
There's no possible way that any of that could have been translated into anything good.
No, what I will say is, just like meth, what people who haven't done hard drugs, or like the general public doesn't understand, is like any of those uppers or drugs that are considered dirtier, especially crack. If you smoke pure crack, it is not an upper like people imagine it is. It isn't like crazy. It is pure euphoria. Like your heart might race and you might feel uppity for like 5-10 minutes after, but really it's pure euphoria for like 30 seconds to a minute tops, like when you're new to the drug. That. But it sounds like fuck that, right? And I was all like very rarely like thought that shit was lame. Just did my heroin. Stay away from the uppers. Those people are sketchy. It's a rip off. You don't stay high, whatever. but then the time you actually experience it, you want to throw away every other drug you've ever tried to only chase that feeling forever. Like it is that strong. It's not what people think it is. And meth is very similar in it is, like meth gets crazy, you get sped up for 12 hours or whatever. But the feeling that you feel the strongest or for a good while of that high is pure confidence. It is pure like bliss, euphoria, and you're confident. Like you feel good about who you are and who life is. And it's the part like even coke, like people, I feel like crack really is that damage. Same with meth, whatever. But it's like got a stigma that is just like so inaccurate. And anyone that says that they wouldn't like it, they don't understand. That sounds shitty. But
here's, and this is the perspective of someone that, doesn't do it, hasn't tried it,
Yeah.
Maybe that's for the better.
I don't disagree. Yeah.
Maybe it's better if you demonize it a little bit in a way that
it's a balance.
Keeps people from, doing it. That's the thing. That's the other thing for me that the thing that kills me about the drug problem, especially in this country, is like growing up. Like I grew up in the same school systems as so many of these people, and I never ever once heard a good story that started with, this person was, using, was on crack, or this person was on heroin, or anything. There's never a happy ending.
Hey, I know I told you about the time I went to the opera. Come on. There's some good stories.
Okay, long term.
No,
you're the closest thing to a happy ending that I've the only story I've ever heard of where someone goes through, using multiple drugs and then is able to keep their life together. And even you've said like you would go back if it weren't for like fentanyl and shit. If you knew what you were getting, and it's like that. I understand that. That part makes sense to me.
I get what you're getting at, though. There is a healthy amount of stigma and demonization, and if it swings too far, it can be deadly. Like that Dr. Hart, the guy that sent me his book, that I really like him, but part of what his thing was like, he's a scientist, he's an actual doctor, and he does heroin and other hard drugs, but he's getting pure drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
He's not getting the shit that you get from your dealer down the street.
And that's what I emailed him, and he was very kind. He sent me a free copy of his book, but he did not want to have a debate, which I understand. But what I expressed to him is that while that is true, that you can do these chemicals responsibly in a controlled adult way and be a doctor or whatever, the average person is incapable of that because the drug supply is so tarnished.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you put out a book about how heroin isn't what we think it is and you can do hard drugs, it's like I wouldn't want that on my conscience.
Right.
While I may tell someone that privately or try to express that in a nuanced way,
but to publish that
say,
without being there to like have the conversation face to face.
That's what I mean.
It's very different.
And I think his book was really good. I definitely am. I feel like we need people that push, even if they may be a little too far. You need people to push, because I feel like the pendulum hasn't gone too far the other way, that we still need to fight stigma shit.
Yeah.
But if his dream world was imagined, I know the drug supply would be good, but the reality is that it would be very acceptable to do drugs that people could not verify or what they are. And a lot of people would die.
So the way I see it also is like there's so many, so much of addiction is at least from what I know, it's psychological problem, right? Like it's like you said, like there's so much of that, once you feel that, you spend so much time chasing that because it's you're addicted to it. So trying to stop someone from chasing that is trying to change the way their brain works. Yeah. And if they're stuck on doing that, maybe stuck isn't the right word. That has a connotation that I don't mean.
I think it's,
but it's their brain is one track. Like this is the goal.
This is what we need. Feel okay. Yeah.
Then their brain is broken. Their brain
to some extent.
To that extent, like their progression of being themselves as a whole person, it's broken because they need to accomplish this before anything else. Before they can be them, they need this, right?
I don't think you're wrong, but I mean, I know it's a very subjective.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm coming from a place of complete ignorance, outside looking in.
You understand it more than most people, but I think like medically, addiction in the DSM and real diagnosis, it's considered an actual disease, right? Equal to cancer if you have alcoholism or drug addiction. And that is bullshit, right? Your brain may be broken to some extent, but you still always have a choice. And it takes away more and more of your choice the more you make that choice. The more you light up the path in the dark forest, the more your brain can sense out that path type of thing. But there's still always a choice. And I think it's I think we strip people away from the power they have in changing their decisions if we say their brain is broken or that they don't have a choice or can't stop what they're doing. And I don't disagree with you from that. What I would say is that I would argue that most people need people to make that call and that decision. They're not leaders of themselves like you are. They are doing what they're doing because there's so many people around them that are doing it, or it's just become a habit and this is just what they do. Where I feel like you make a choice to do a thing. You maintain power and control. And I don't think I did for a long
time.
And
that's also, to my point, that even when you have someone that is, I think you value control over your own life more than you value most things, I would say.
Autonomy. Yeah.
So,
for sure.
So, to have someone that is so focused on that, do you think that's stemmed from that, or do you think you had that before?
Both.
It just became stronger afterward.
Yeah, because it became so when you have less and less control of yourself, you start to value it more and more to be your own master type of thing. But I think it's really even drugs get compared to food addiction all the time, and it's obviously a very different level, but
sugar does a lot of the same things.
I think even just in the sense you put enough of anything inside of you, you become it, right? Like you feed yourself enough donuts, your body's hormones, you need it. Your body changes shape. You have different sugar resistance. You can't go as long without food. It changes your personality, all those things. If you put enough of an addictive drug in you, it changes you too. Each time you're making that choice, you're giving up a little bit more of your free will. There's always a strand, unless you're in a psychotic state. You always have a strand of control, no matter how fucked it gets. I just want to get addicted to that moon diamond. Those moon diamonds.
Yeah, man, smoking some moon diamonds. Oh man,
Oh, get fucked up with the aliens. Dude, fish are aliens. Little B said it.
Imagine we do manage to, like, we're not even there yet, but like we make a craft that's scheduled to go to, you know, Mercury, and maybe it gets off the ground, and then it's shot out of the sky by like a laser or some shit. And that's when the aliens come down. They're like, look, we weren't going to like interfere with shit, but you are not fucking with our diamonds over here. Like this is our fucking Mercury diamond hoard. These are, you know, this is for us to sell and distribute it and smoke.
Right. We're not sharing.
We're not sharing our space drugs with you.
Marjorie Taylor Greene uses her Jewish space laser to shoot us out of the sky before we can get to the Martian drugs.
Turns out she was a lizard person all along.
Always has been, always will be.
Goddamn.
Bitch. Well, I like this.
Yeah, this was fun. This started as just a bunch of goofy dumb shit, and then turned into a very meaningful conversation about addiction, which is fun. I love this podcast. It can be anything.
Out of control. Yeah. Very fun. I have an idea for next one I'm going to talk to you about.
Okay,
later.
Cool. You got anything else you want to say before we wrap up here?
I don't think so. Except make cool shit and make your brain feel nice.
Yeah. Smoke some moon diamonds.
Smoke some moon diamonds and pet a cat.
Pet a cat.
On a sunny day.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks again for listening. Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thank you, John. If you guys haven't listened, our previous episode, number 72, has an outstanding song by my brother, Approaching Human, titled Panic. We have it as the intro that goes hard as fuck, and then we play the whole song at the end. So check it out. Very cool shit.
Yeah. Make sure you check out the show page at Trashcast on Instagram for news and arts from the show. Also check out Facebook for the memes.
For the memes, if you're super bored, you can check out my space diamondy dust art on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZSEX. It's been slow, but I'm always working, and I've finished multiple things this week, but I don't like them enough. I'm being particular, so we'll get something I like up there soon. We'll have some new honorable mentions soon, too. We got some cool art on the way, and we got something cool, a cool episode for next Wednesday coming up,
Yeah,
too.
Shouts out to double arm transplants and space diamonds and
our boy Chavis the Tramp.
And bees.
The homie. Shouts out to bees.
Shouts out to the bees. Support a local apiary. I don't give a fuck if you're vegan. You should support a local apiary.
Drink some honey. Smoke some space rocks.
Damn right. That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy. Eat trashy.
Go fast and eat trash.